And how do you think it's going to change in the next 5 years? 20 years, I think, is quite a question.
Yeah, in the next 5 years, man, I don't know. The whole like prop firm world right now is pretty heavy.
And prop firm just,
Yeah, prop firm definition would be started out. There was prop firms way back in the day. Basically, like a trader who was underfunded, didn't have enough money to trade with. You could go get funding from someone or a company, and they would give you money to trade with, and then you would profit split off of your money that you made. So I could give you, say you're a badass trader, I could give you 50 grand. If you made 50 grand, I'd keep 20% of it. You keep however much money, and that's how a lot of traders got their start. And so now we're seeing the online version of that, which is what like a lot of traders do. They go through like a evaluation in order to prove that they're a good trader, and then the company will give them money to trade with, and then there's a profit split involved in all of that. And so what it's doing is it's allowing a lot, like we had the revolution of the screens bring in a lot of traders, but they still needed a lot of cash in order to trade. $10,000 a contract, right? Or more back then. And so now we're opening up another realm of traders who can come in and participate in the markets who are even less funded, less money in their pockets to be able to still like participate in the markets. So we're seeing a big push on that, which will bring in more participants over the next 5 years. More participants typically is a good thing. We'll see what like elections do. I say I don't care about big picture stuff, but elections will matter for the next 4 years as far as like what the markets are looking like and what the markets are doing. If we have high volatility, there's going to be more participants because there's more money to be made. People will blow up faster. The life cycle of a trader continues. And then tech, which I don't really know kind of what the tech side necessarily entails. People are always talking about AI and stuff. I'm sure it'll like be implemented. It probably already is implemented on like the big banks that are trading, but like for your average Joe, I don't think there's going to be much there because we're trading. This is going to be potentially, I'm going to try and make it not confusing. We're trading like inefficiencies in the market. So like if a market was totally efficient, there would be no reason to like trade it because it would just go like unilaterally in a certain direction, right? And then that direction would potentially change or whatever. And there would be no opportunities for you to get in or get out of trades. And so an inefficient market is when we get to trade it because we're getting to essentially like, if you think the market is not priced correctly, you buy it with the anticipation that it's going to go back up and find its efficiency point, right? And then you would sell it because then you found value in that change in price. And so as tech typically gets better, the efficiencies go down. But I think we're still going to be trading in 5 years. But
yeah, there's really a couple of things to jump into that were really fascinating, and most just off of what you're saying with AI.
Yeah.
Which what I imagined is that all of these principles that you've established, like I imagine that you could just put them into some algorithm and it would essentially trade for you. Is that exist, or is that something that could be done? Or
it probably exists for someone that's got hundreds of millions of dollars at a big bank and with like a bunch of really smart developers behind it doing whatever. Every trader kind of goes through like an algorithm phase, I think, of like I'm doing this every day. I have like certain things I'm looking for. Let me code this thing to where like it takes my emotions out of it because I try so hard to take my emotions out anyways. But the markets are always changing. And so what I've found is that you end up spending more time trying to like code for these changes in the markets or watch to make sure it's all working correctly, or like watching to make sure that, the current conditions are the conditions that you were expecting. Cause it's, again, there's so many different levels of like volatility and volume and like all these different things that are required that we call it being a discretionary trader, which is a non like robot trading. I just don't think it ever goes away personally, but
it's so fascinating because you think like everything is under threat from AI. That's what the perception is, that every job is under threat, but to still be able to trade off these inefficiencies and to make a living off it is fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that I think there are ways to use AI in the future for like a retail trader like myself, like a solo dude, where you can get insights on how you should be trading, which is like something that I've tried to work on a little bit, which is like, okay, like based on these inputs or how the market's like working or whatever, what's the like machine learning or AI or whatever you want to call it, like what's it going to spit out in order to like tell me how much I should be looking to make today, for instance.
Yeah. Or I mean, if it's all pattern recognition as well, it could go back through. I wonder how much it could help with the journaling component of when you review the data that you just went through, and it's like, hey, this you could have traded at this price point versus this one,
right?
And that could be an interesting.
And there's a dude I talked to who's got a journaling software called Tradezilla. His name's Umar, smart guy. Do you know him?
I know him from, he was on a podcast with Mike Thurston, but I listened to him and researched him before this. And
okay, yeah.
One of the most,
he's really cool,
incredible speaker.
I was on the phone with him end of last week. It's the first time I've ever talked with him.
Wow,
but
that's awesome.
We were just like talking about all that type of stuff, and it's like he's starting to work on that side for his journaling platform of like being able to provide some new insights and things like that, which I'm like, that's totally value add for a trader.
Because Tradezilla, from what I understood from that episode that released in 2018, is that it started off as being the QuickBooks for trading, and then now it's expanding it to be more of this all-encompassing thing where you can just track your information and implement these changes and have a all is one.
Yeah, all is one, essentially, right? Yeah, where it's like you're not having to build like 20 different Excel sheets. Wow. It's just like visualized for you. It inputs it all for you, and like just tracks it all. Gives you like some actionable data.
Yeah, it increases your rate of learning by a significant.
Yeah, a massive amount for a lot of people who don't even know how to build it in Excel to begin with, right? So it's like helpful. Yeah, very helpful.
So you mentioned earlier, kind of in the changing landscape with prop firms, and I'm really curious because I believe you trade with prop firms.
Yeah.
So does that allow for more of an emotional detachment?
Totally.
Okay, so then that could be,
because it's that money that we were talking about. Like you don't feel like it's like your bank account that's just getting drained, right?
Yeah.
So it totally allows for like emotional detachment.
That's really cool. So then there's just gonna be more success and more of a long-term life cycle of a trader because they don't have this emotional attachment to it.
Right.
Wow. So I know you have some cool things. I think in your community that you want to build. You have a clothing line as well, which I think is
really cool. Just like some merch stuff that drops every now and then, right? Yeah.
What led you to get into merch?
Really just like people ask for it.
Yeah.
People ask for it, and like I like to have like, I don't want to say like a uniform that I wear on stream, but like I like to just like wear the same hoodie all the time and like be comfortable and whatever. And a lot of people, like if I'm wearing it every day, a lot of people want it to become their trading uniform or whatnot. I don't have like TBM brand trades by Matt like branded on anything. It's just like stuff that I think is cool for like a trader to like, if you're a trader, you understand it. If you're not a trader, it just looks badass. And then like things that I want, like I made a golf shirt this last drop because I was like, I want a golf shirt. Yeah. Like I want my own golf shirt.
That's awesome. That's a level of freedom. That's
right.
And you mentioned on a stream, or maybe you mentioned on a couple of them, but one of the streams that I saw that you are opening an office.
Yeah. I'm opening an office. Hopefully Q1 of next year is kind of the general plan. And it's, think like WeWork for trading is kind of the idea. So I'll be out of there to not be working from home anymore. It'll be like a couple of minutes from my house, so it'll be easy. But the idea is just like take that level of like a community that we have in the stream and just make it personal, and allow people to work out of there. So like a lot of people aren't trading full time. They still like work their other jobs, so they can like work out of the desk there for like remote guys. But in the mornings, we're all kind of just grinding together, and you can ask someone how they're doing and like talk strategies and take it as deep as you want to go or not as deep as you want to go. Right. But
that's awesome. Just to bring the actual community to a physical place. And I think some guys in the stream as well were saying, hey, is this something where we could drop in for a day, or can we visit for a while? So
and like be able to like host like meetups and stuff there would be cool. Cause I've done a couple meetups. We did one in Vegas in June. And it's like, that's really cool and fun. We did like a trading conference, but it's like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, like a lot of work. TJ, who you met, like worked on that for like a long time. So it's like to be able to do something that's like less of a thing, but still be able to like meet people is like kind of the goal there also.